The city exercises caution heading into budget season.
There are some pluses in there, and there's some areas that I think we're going to look at carefully to see where we end up. Ultimately, though, it's going to be the year end that's going to tell the full story.
And returning players drive the team spirit with the women's basketball team.
We have a lot of us girls returning, so we all have the team chemistry already.
Plus a poverty simulation workshop, how low-income families are trying to make ends meet.
Hey, I'm Eric Bay, and today we are here at the Lloyd X, and we are checking out the Stockade Roundup, which is going on here over the next 4 days. Today is the first day, so we're going to have everything you need to know from all the different shows and what you can expect here throughout the rest of tonight.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Judy Gabriel. The third quarter report was presented at City Hall this week. While Lloydminster is currently operating at a surplus, Council isn't prepared to call it a win ahead of budget season. Josh Ryan has more.
Mayor Albers isn't prone to making declarations prior to a completed budget, and that hasn't changed in 2019.
We're in relatively good shape, but again, trying to see into the future at this point to the end of the quarter.
As of September 30th, revenues are slightly down, but savings on expenditures have the city's operating budget at a surplus of almost $14,000. Larger capital projects like street rehabilitation are particularly important for the results thus far, though there are multiple reasons for such savings.
I think there were a lot of pieces of information there that suggest that there are some red flags relative to revenues. On the other hand, we also know that many of the projects are coming in under cost at this point in time, in part I would suggest because of the economy.
A few factors for proceeding with caution include more than 100 projects that either haven't begun or are currently in progress, and additional costs that can pop up due to weather conditions.
The snow that's just landed, is it going to leave? Is it going to stay? Is it going to get deeper? And when's that going to happen? And none of us know that answer. So that is one of those challenges as an example.
Once the community has given input and the first budget is brought forward, then the city's future outlook will take shape.
There are some pluses in there, and there's some areas that I think we're going to look at carefully to see where we end up. Ultimately, though, it's going to be the year end that's going to tell the full story.
This time of year to commit to the final end is a little early. Finding out what people think and as we present and see what administration brings forward, because we have not seen the budget and we will see it in the next couple of weeks so that we'll have an idea of what they're proposing, and then we'll start to make the adjustments from there.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local News.
Grace United Church brought a unique experience to the city by shedding some light on poverty. Community Action Poverty Simulation, or CAPS for short, is a learning tool to help demonstrate the realities of poverty. In the simulation, participants role play the lives of low-income families.
It's really quite interesting to see the atmosphere change from a game to a simulation, where people begin to experience the real, like the emotions and the feelings become very real.
CAPS is not a game, even though money plays a role in the experience. Participants are given a limited budget, and with it, they're supposed to plan a month of how they would manage surviving with limited resources. This sheds light on the day-to-day struggles of those living in poverty.
It's becoming harder and harder to find money. It's harder for people to make their way in the world. And more and more people, instead of eradicating poverty, we're seeing it grow, and it's only going to wreak havoc further down the line for our communities and our country.
Organizers hope the attendees will have more empathy towards people with less after today. October 30th is the day that kids get prepared to go on a candy overload through trick-or-treating. However, for a large group of Holy Rosary students, they're getting prepared to go trick-or-treating, but it's not candy they're asking for. They'll be going door to door asking for items that will go towards a great cause. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, our Abby St. John talks with a couple of students getting ready for tomorrow.
Halloween for Hunger is a food drive that students from Holy Rosary High School participates in. Instead of trick-or-treating for candy, these students will be asking for any non-perishable food donations, which will then be donated to St. Anthony's Church Food Bank. This is a chance for students to get out into the community.
It's really just important that we get out there as students to give back and learn what it takes to be a part of the community.
This food bank will be able to serve a lot more families and people who depend on the donations of others in the community.
Just to look at other people in the community, Lloydminster has a lot of child poverty, and just going and making a food drive, that really helps a lot of people in the community. And, we just need to come together and stick together and help everyone out.
There is a lot of negative stigma around teens going trick-or-treating, but these students are hoping to combat that by doing something good within the community.
Well, we're not going trick-or-treating for ourselves, getting candy or anything. We're going to help others, so if they could spare noodles, pasta, anything that doesn't perish in a long time, then that would really help us a lot and help people that they don't know. This is all anonymous. They don't know who we are. We're just giving it to the church, and the church spreads the food out.
As students, people tend to underestimate us and how we can affect the community, so I think it's important that we get out there, show our face, and make our voice heard, that there is change in the community that has to be done.
These students will be out all around the community tomorrow evening to collect any non-perishable food donations that you have, which will be all given to St. Anthony's Church. For this week's Beyond the Classroom, I'm Abby St. John.
Don't wait until next fall to take charge of your future. Apply to Lakeland College today. For details or to apply, visit lakelandcollege.ca today.
With Halloween fast approaching, for those who don't have their costumes yet, now is the time for last-minute costume shopping. And if you aren't quite sure what costumes to get, choosing what's trending the most may be your best bet. Our Jasmine King has that story.
With a lot of popular movies this year having a few well-known outfits, that is carried on to Halloween, with one of the most popular costumes being a clown.
We've had a couple that are going out for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is always still really popular. We've really run into a run on scarecrows and, of course, creepy clowns thanks to the It movie. We've seen zombies are still really hot this year. Everybody wants to be dead and scary.
For those who are still wondering what to be, there is a few simple ideas out there if you don't want to go too crazy with your costume.
It depends on where they're going, because depending on where you are, costume needs change. So you can do anything from your superheroes to your villains, and you can do something that's comfortable, like wearing pajamas for the night, and still look fairly dressed up. So
for parents who are planning to take their kids out, they have a few costumes for you if you want to do a matching costume with your kid.
Anything that their face is open. I really enjoy pairing parents up with their kids. So doing a Cruella de Vil and a Dalmatian is really fun for me. Or a little dinosaur and a big dinosaur, or a little caveman and a big gorilla. Stuff like that is really good for me because you can pair them out either way.
With the weather not looking too great for trick-or-treating, Selby has a few tips for parents who haven't brought their kids out trick-or-treating before.
Make sure the kids can go to the bathroom. So that's always a good one. Make sure that they're warm enough, they've got enough room to fit their costume over top of their winter clothes, because it's not going to be really warm again this year. And then they can be comfortable and ready to go for the whole day.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
We now head out to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
Once again, we are back here today at the Lloyd X, and today we are checking out the Stockade Roundup, which has kicked off today, and now Sydney Lake joins me. And so first off, can you tell us, I guess, a little bit about what's going on here over the next few days?
All right, so this is our 41st annual Stockade Roundup. So it is a purebred cattle show that runs for 4 days. So we've got 9 different breeds represented here, producers from all across the prairies, with 370 head here, which is great to see.
And now we'd also mention it's one of the bigger shows in kind of the area. So what's the importance, I guess, of making sure that putting on something that people can check out from here all around the area?
Well, this is a great event for beef producers from all those different breeds. It's a chance to check out breeding stock, chat with the exhibitors and the producers themselves. A great way to check out some great cattle that will be on the show road for the rest of the fall, and some that will be in production sales over the winter time as well.
And now one of the other big events here coming up is the Cattleman of the Year presentation. So can you talk about the importance of that award and when that is coming up?
So the Cattleman of the Year presentation will take place on Friday at 1 o'clock, and this year we are awarding it to Jim and Marty Hines of Dewberry, Alberta, some very deserving cattlemen in the area. So that's something Lloyd X is really proud of, since it gives us an opportunity to showcase the great cattlemen we have in this area that are dedicated to both the farming industry as well as their communities that they are from.
And now just really quick, if people want to check out anything going on here over the next few days, how can they do so?
So the best way would be either on our Facebook page or on our website, or just to call the office. We've got stuff from now till Saturday, so lots of great opportunities to come and check out what's happening down here.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here at the Lloyd X, but before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
We're staying at 1 degrees here in Lloydminster as of right now, with mostly cloudy skies, which is the trend that we've been seeing throughout the majority of today. The wind did slow down just a little bit to 15 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-southwest, which should continue overnight into tomorrow. And taking a look at our satellite radar earlier today in the afternoon and over the last couple of hours, there's been a movement of a mix of snow and rain coming in through the region, and mostly down in North Battleford and Maidstone, and even in Meadow Lake and St. Walburg, they've been seeing a mix of a mix of snow and rain throughout the afternoon and a little bit into this evening. 0 in North Battleford, -2 in Meadow Lake and Saskatoon, -4 out in Prince Albert, and -6 in Melfort. And then on the Alberta side, 2 degrees in Cold Lake, 4 in Edson, Whitecourt, Athabasca, and in Rocky Mountain House, 1 in Jasper, 5 in Red Deer, and 6 out in Edmonton. Now taking a look overnight, fairly clear skies, a little bit of cloud coverage through most of the region, but there's little chance of any precipitation or snow overnight. Pearson and Provost being the most clear with just a little bit of cloud coverage. Isla Cross seeing a lot of cloud. Overnight here, -3 will be the temperature overnight, with the wind picking back up to 17 kilometers per hour and a little bit of cloud coverage, but it should be a little bit more clear than in most regions. And then 2 is the high for tomorrow. There we go. 2 is the high for tomorrow, with a low of -3. And then on Friday, a high of +3 and a low of -4, with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. And then on Saturday, it will be a high of +3 and a low of -3, with mostly cloudy skies to wrap up your 3-day forecast. We'll have your 7-day later on in the show.
Following Lakeland's dominating performance last weekend, point guard Angela Barron is looking to continue her play. Barron was named player of the game after recording 15 points, 16 assists, and 12 rebounds. She credits her play to her surroundings.
Well, I think it just comes with, being in the program for a while. I'm getting more familiar with how our system works as a team. Plus, we have a lot of us girls returning, so we all have that team chemistry already, and then you just keep practicing.
The Rustlers take on the King's University Friday at home. And now we head over to Eric Bay, who's on location earlier today.
Once again, we are back out here today at the Lloydminster exhibition, and today we are checking out their Stockade Roundup, which has just kicked off today. And now joining me is Owen Wilms, and you yourself are going to be showing here later on. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're showing and what will be happening?
I'm showing 2 heifers, and we just take them in the show ring and show them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And now, obviously, a lot of work you've obviously put into this. So talk about a little bit about the work you've put on here throughout the year to get them ready to show.
So we bring them in when they're just young and still on the cow, and then we start getting them used to us, and then we start putting a halter on them just so that you can lead them. And then you just bring them into the barn and work on their hair, and so that it's ready to go for a show. And yeah, you just do that all year round and till they're ready.
So is it pretty much then, I guess, just a whole bunch of repetition?
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you see there's some work being put on behind us here. So talk, I guess, about those last-minute preparations here before showing.
It's just clipping them out so that they look better, just to enhance their looks, I guess. And then we just get them washed so that they're looking good in the stall for advertisements.
And now you said off camera here that you're also in 4-H. So I guess what kind of wanted you to get into 4-H and working with these animals here?
I guess my parents told me about it and just thought it was interesting. Yeah.
And so what's been, I guess, your favorite part so far doing all this between this and 4-H?
Kind of just making new friends and meeting all the people around the business.
All right, thank you for doing this, and we are going to have some more from back here again at the Lloydminster exhibition as we do continue to check out the Stockade Roundup, which has just kicked off here today, and will be running again until Saturday, so tons of time to still check it out. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Taking a look at the satellite radar throughout the afternoon across the region, coming in is a little bit of a mix of rain and snow mixture throughout the mid region, and then in North Battleford, Maidstone area saw more snow, and in the Meadow Lake area more snow than a mixture, but the mixture of snow and rain did make its way through over the course of the afternoon and a little bit into this evening. Now taking a look at current temperatures, it is still 1 degree here in Lloydminster, -1 in Isla Cross and Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and in Maidstone, 3 in Macklin, -2 in St. Walburg, 0 in Pearceland and in North Battleford. And then on the Alberta side, all above 0 again, with 6 out in Edmonton, 3 in Vegreville, Vermilion, 4 in Wainwright, Provost, 2 in St. Paul, 3 in Lac La Biche, 1 in Bonnyville, and 2 out in Cold Lake. Now taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, 2 degrees here is the daytime high for Lloydminster, 2 also in Marwayne and St. Paul, Wainwright, and Provost, 3 in Vermilion and Vegreville, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche, and 4 in Edmonton. And on the Saskatchewan side, 2 in Maidstone, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, 3 in Green Lake, Pearceland, 1 in Isla Cross, 3 in North Battleford, and 4 in Macklin. And now taking a look at your school day forecast for tomorrow, 8 a.m. it should be -2 with mostly cloudy skies, which should be the trend for the entirety of the day into the evening. Recess -1 degrees, and then at lunchtime it'll get to 0 degrees, and then by the time school is out and getting ready for trick-or-treating, it should be 2 degrees with again that that mostly cloudy sky throughout the day. There is a possibility that we could see a mix of rain and snow tomorrow in the mid-afternoon, and it should, if it does happen, it should die off by the evening. And then our 7-day forecast, 2 degrees is the high for tomorrow with a low of -3 for Halloween, mix of sun and cloud throughout the day, a high of 3 degrees on Friday with a low of -4 with a mix of sun and cloud. And then on Saturday it should be mostly cloudy skies with a high of 3 and a low of -3. And then on Sunday there's a 56% chance of some snow with a high of 0 and a low of -1. And then starting Monday, the temperature will drop significantly below 0. For both Monday and Tuesday, it will be a high of -7 and a low of -12. And then to wrap up your 7-day forecast on Wednesday, it will be a high of -10 and a low of -15. So we're definitely getting into those more cooler temperatures yet again. But that's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news and question of the day coming up after the break.
Once again, we are back here today at the Lloydminster exhibition, and we have been checking out the Stockade Roundup. And now Darcy Oleski joins me, and you guys have been coming here for a few years now. Yeah. So talk about why you've been coming here and your past experiences.
Oh, it's just a great show. There's lots of great cattle here. The committee is fantastic. They treat you like gold, and I've been coming here about 6 years now.
And you mentioned, obviously, you guys have been coming from a long ways away, so obviously it has to be a good show. So talk about, again, your experiences here in the past and what you kind of brought this year.
Okay, we've been coming here about 6 years, and they have some great jackpot shows. They have a great heifer jackpot tonight, and tomorrow night a bull jackpot show where all the breeds compete, and just such a great venue and such a great committee here in Lloydminster.
And now, obviously you've probably been to other shows, I would assume, in the area, so how does this one compare to some of the other ones you have been to?
Well, it's definitely one of our favorites. it's a fairly large show for the size of community it is, so you have lots of competition, which is great. It's nice to have lots of your peers out showing their cattle along with you, and it helps you see how you compare to your other counterparts in the industry.
And now you also mentioned that you come in here trying to work your way to Regina, so talk about trying to take that next step to Regina.
Okay, yeah, we'll be heading to Edmonton after this and then on to Regina. Lloydminster is one of the gold shows for the Canadian Angus Association. Get you aggregate points towards Canadian champions, so as an aggregate, if you do well, you move on with more points and maybe get you that result in the end.
And now just real quick, how many have you brought with you this year, and where and when will you be showing this year?
We brought 6 animals with us to this show this year, and we'll be showing on Friday.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here again at the Lloyd X, continuing with the Stockade Roundup and all that is happening here over the next 4 days in Lloydminster. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Well, a lot of people are probably getting ready for Halloween, which is tomorrow. And the question of the day is, do you celebrate Halloween or are you superstitious? I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence on that one because I'm afraid of cats walking past me. I'm afraid of walking underneath a ladder, all of those things. What about you?
I'm very superstitious when it comes to sports, when it comes to, myths and conspiracy theories. I'm very superstitious, but I love the superstitious nature when it comes to Halloween with the black cats, the crows, the witches, putting salt on your doorway to keep the demons out. All of those superstitions I love, and that really makes Halloween.
Yeah, I've never heard of the salt in front of you, but I get it. I get that kind of thing of warding. It's like garlic warding the vampires idea, right? Or whatever you call it. But so are you going to dress up and be in one of these costumes in a scary outfit?
It won't be scary, but there is something in the works.
There is something in the works. I like that. A lot of people had chimed in and said that they will celebrate it. They love the fact that it's Halloween, but some of them were a bit on the fence as well too, which I kind of thought was interesting.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of those very superstitious because that's, again, like I mentioned, it's all about Halloween.
Yeah.
Superstitions make Halloween, and those creepy myths and tales and stuff about Halloween with witches, vampires, zombies, all that kind of stuff, it really makes Halloween.
And there's nothing to be scared about when there's candy, right? Sweet candy, I love it.
Yes.
Anyway, but about black cats, I'm always afraid about cats, as long as they're black. But anyway, cats and pets, which we celebrate a lot here. If you send in your pets with their names, you'll get a chance to win a gift certificate from the Pet Pad. Of course, these are some of our picks for the day, brought to you by the Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Joined now by Mayor Craig Copeland from Cold Lake here at the premiere, or should I say VIP screening for Moments in Space Time. We talked before off camera just about how much this means to Cold Lake. Also, being able to see a movie with people you know is probably really special as well.
Oh yeah, and the scenery, of course, where it's all going to be shot, so it's really cool. I mean, local actors and other actors were brought in, of course, real famous people, so it's going to be unique. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And it's obviously a nice moment for the economy as well for Cold Lake. What else is going on in the economy that you and City Council have had to tackle recently?
Well, I mean, the downturn, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people in Cold Lake are losing their houses, so that's been a really tough pill to people to swallow. We're trying to keep the taxes as low as we can and just trying to incentivize business to come to Cold Lake, and we're pretty excited. We've got some new businesses coming to Cold Lake, some increase in housing start. So I think the big thing is the new fighter jet for the military base. I think that'll really boost our economy, and we'll just see some major investment on Four Wing. We desperately need the men and women out there to do a great job for Canada, and it looks like the federal government's going to spend about $500 million worth of investment over the next 5 years on the base. So that's great. Going to be big boost for our local economy.
And can you put into kind of quantifiable term of just how much that means for the community in terms of the type of jobs it brings in or the employment opportunities it brings?
Yeah, well, what's going to happen is all the old hangars are going to slowly come down. So there's lots of construction jobs that are going to happen in Cold Lake next summer, and then probably for several years after that. So you're going to have a lot of construction people coming into town. Maybe not necessarily permanent jobs, but a lot of people filling your hotels. Our hotels are just as empty as everybody else's in the Northeast. So for the hotel restaurant, they've been really suffering. So it's going to be exciting for them to get some business. Hopefully starting next summer.
And I understand you have a couple of other projects as a city going on in the next 6 or so months.
Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting projects. One is the RCMP building. We're going to build a brand new RCMP building here in Cold Lake. We just finished off a big artificial turf football field that's we're really proud of. But we've got things like the public workshop. We'll see how the budget goes. We're expecting maybe some bit of a cutback here on the provincial funding, but we'll deal with whatever comes our way.
Fair enough. And is there any other more exciting events or kind of comings and goings that we should know about as well, like whether it's even just a large weekend thing?
Well, I mean, next summer, Cold Lake Air Show is going to be amazing. We've signed up the Blue Angels, so you're going to have the Snowbirds and the Blue Angels at the air show in middle of July. Look it up. It's going to be a fantastic show, and that'll be really exciting next summer. But of course, everybody's gearing up for Santa's going to come in a couple of months. So usually the Christmas here is a lot of fun, and but there'll be a couple of different events. I mean, this weekend coming up on Saturday, there's so many different events to go to, and Cold Lakers like to get out and have a good time. And even though the economy is really tough, people are supporting a lot of the nonprofits as best they can.
And that obviously becomes important in the next month or so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And whether it's Bullarama, the Ag Society, or Yuck Yucks, or this big event here tonight, but everybody works together as best they can, and the nonprofits in our community is all done by volunteers, and that's really like this film, the volunteers are behind any community.
Absolutely. Thanks again for this time, Mayor.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Hot 101.3 and Boom 95.3, and here's what's happening around the Lakeland. Well, coming up in Bonnyville tomorrow, it's the Candy Carnival for Halloween, an event with the Bonnyville Baptist Church that's gone on for many years. Youth Pastor Graham McDonald joins me now. What's going on?
Not much. We're excited for this event. We were getting all set up, getting all ready, and we're expecting a lot of people here.
What are some of the details? I know there's that cotton candy.
Yeah, there's cotton candy. We've got a bunch of food, cotton candy, popcorn, juice, hot chocolate, of course, and then all kinds of games and a ton of candy. So we just set up a bunch of games all over our church, let kids come in, play games, and they win candy and fill their buckets and just have a good time.
From 5 to 7:30 tomorrow. You can get more information, facebook.com/boom953. Graham, why does this keep going on? It's been like the 10th year you've done it or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. It's going on because people keep coming, and people from our church and our community keep volunteering to put this on and supporting it. And the candy that we're giving out largely is donated by people in our church, and we see a lot of support there. And we'll see probably over 1,000 people from the community here tomorrow night. So,
Graham, doing great things in our community. Candy Carnival tomorrow night, 5 to 7:30. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.
I'm joined by MLA David Hansen from the Lakeland region. We're just coming out of watching a movie that was produced and directed by people from the Cold Lake area, made by people from the Cold Lake area. That must have made you pretty proud to experience that as a member of the region.
As a matter of fact, you forgot to say filmed in the Cold Lake area too, which is a perfect setting for a movie. There's a lot to see around Cold Lake, and the movie showed that with the jets flying over and the museum up at the top here. It's a great spot, and the marina as well.
And obviously you can see the impact that a lot of the people who are from the region made in terms of the fire department helping with some of the road shots, the night shoots. Obviously a lot of local people filling in as roles as actors.
I think it was a real community event, and it showed, and there's a lot of pride in the folks that were here tonight watching it. And the movie brought back a lot of, kind of hit home for me. I lost my dad to dementia related, so some of the moments in the movie were, they really hit home.
I can certainly imagine that. Are you positive about what this might mean for the region? Because I know Chris has talked about he'd love to see more productions happen in the region, because the area is beautiful, the people work hard and can put that stuff together, but there's lots of opportunity there. Do you think that's something that could help change the local economy, particularly since we're still sort of in an extended recession of sorts?
Yeah, you know what? I think everything that we can do to diversify up here would help, and I think this movie is going to go a long way to showing folks that there's a lot to see up here. As you mentioned, there's a lot of movies being filmed down in Calgary area and out in the mountains and the foothills, but there's a lot. We have a lot to offer up here as well. And Alberta is a great place to film, and we're really supportive of our film industry in our caucus.
Now, speaking of the economy, obviously it's been a busy year for every MLA basically within the surrounding couple of 100 kilometers. What's been the biggest challenge for you sort of late in the summer now heading into the Christmas season?
Well, you know what? 2019's been a pretty rough year for local business. I've worked up in this area for most of my life, so I know a lot of folks that have lost their business, lost their homes. We're hoping that things pick up, and I think we can see some hope on the horizon, and we are experiencing a lot more optimism in the last 6 months.
I talked with MLA Garth Rosewell down from Lloydminster, and he has said that, despite how busy it has been for people like Rosemary Falk during this election cycle, he actually had been busy not worrying about the election. He's actually gotten to focus on the issues. Has that been the same for you? You've been able to sort of avoid some of the noise and actually get focused on things that people, the daily concerns of your constituents, I guess?
Yeah, I serve a huge area. We, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, St. Paul, including Glendon and Elk Point as well. So there's a lot of people, a lot of seniors around, and a lot of people have their own special issues. That my office is very busy. I have my office staff says it's the busiest she's ever seen it in the last 6 months. So.
And what has made it particularly busy? Is there any one particular issue? Or is there a couple of other issues that have kind of compounded together?
Well, interestingly enough, over the summer, people kind of take a step back, but I think as we get into the fall here, and we're kind of just into our first real session, fall session here, so I'm sure that it's going to pick up and get busier.
And is there anything that you're particularly focused on heading into January, February?
Well, I work on a lot of different committees, and one of them is fisheries and the energy, and we're focused on hopefully picking things up in the energy industry and trying to get some changes to the fisheries, which is, if you talk to anybody around here, they'll tell you, especially the seniors, right? So we have a great area. It's a great fisheries area. We look at the film industry up here, and increasing the tourism would be a big boon to the area as well.
I'm certain it would. Thank you again for doing this today.
Hey, no problem at all. Thanks for coming up.